Well, I was going to this dance and I wasn't really excited about going to the dance because there wasn't anyone special. So I walked into the door of the ballroom, we'll say, and here was a beautiful girl. Isn't she beautiful? That's the first thing to come into my mind. Isn't she beautiful?
Well, I was new there and there was about 3 dozen boys there that night.
That you hadn't met before?
That I'd never met before. So.
It looks like she was looking them all over.
Now that was the night that I was going to the dance with my father and sister and another man in a sulky. And on the way there, the young man pulled the horse's head one way and the horse wanted to go that way. He knew the way, but this fellow thought he knew the way. And he pulled him down the bank and we fell into the creek.
On the way to the dance?
On the way to the dance. And I had a long green georgette frock. And when I got to the dance, this lady, where we were having the dance, she lived there and she loaned me a black satin frock. But mine was green georgette that I had.
I started asking questions straight away. Who's that girl? And they said, oh, that's Moreen McElroy. Where'd she come from? Oh, she come from Wollongong. Oh, where is she? How come she's here? And anyhow, I found out all those questions and the music started. They had those times, there was a flirtation waltz, so that, like the progressive barn dance is today, so that you could keep changing partners. And when the first bracket of music stopped, I had my hand holding Chick's hand. I said, oh, you are a beautiful dancer. And the music broke, and so she was gone again, I had someone else. And about the 4th or the 5th time of the break, the same beautiful girl standing with her hand in mine. And I thought, well, I'll make a move now. And I said, could I have the next circular waltz with you? She said, sure, yes, I'm not engaged. So that's where our romance started from then. And she was so beautiful and such a lovely dancer.
We weren't married very long, about a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and we were getting visitors on the Sunday. So on the Saturday, Bob comes up to the back door and he says, well, I've killed a chook. I've killed 2 roosters. I've got them hanging on the line to bleed. You know, that's how they did it those days. I don't know what they do these days. He said, when you're ready, you can pluck them and clean them. I said, what? Me pluck and clean them? He said, yes. Why not? I said, well, I won't pluck and clean them. And he said, well, my mother and sisters always did it. I said, well, that's just too bad, because my mother never did, and I don't intend ever to clean and pluck a chook. So from then on, Bob had to clean and pluck the chooks. He learned very fast that I was not going to clean and pluck those chooks. We would have starved first, I think, before I would have done it, but I cooked them.
No, well, you just couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it, no. But it was so funny, I was horrified to think he said I had to clean and pluck them. He thought it was just natural that women did that, but not this woman. Oh, I never worried about women's lib. I always had my liberation. I never had to worry about that. Some people some women do need women's lib, I agree, but I didn't. I was always my own boss, and he never stopped me doing anything I wanted to do. I went to a party one night and questions went around. Questions and answers, and around everyone at the party, there was about 20 there. And they asked us to write down the things that most annoyed us about our husbands, if there was anything, you know, that they did that was terrible. Or the only thing I could think of was that he put the coat hangers in the wrong way in the wardrobe.
The hook the wrong way.
That was the only thing I could think of that I was annoyed with him about.
So that gave me a pretty clean sheet, didn't it?
Instead of putting the coating straight in like that, some of them went in that way, and you've got to sort of hook them back, and that was the only thing I had to complain about.
Of course, there is a reason why, when you put a coat in, well,
say that.
My idea is,
right.
the reason why is that if a coat is wide, the shoulders are wide, if you put the hook in the other way, it doesn't brush against the door.
That's right too, but not in this case. No, you just put them in anyhow. They go in that way and that way, and I like them all coming this way and all going in. Before the war, when I would write a letter, I would hardly get going till I got 7 or 8 pages going. But after the war, I couldn't write any more than about 2 pages. It was just the basic things I could talk about. I don't know, never been able to write the same. Did something to me. I'm starting to get a bit better now at writing a letter. You know, depends on who I'm writing to, of course. My daughter I can tell a lot of things to, but mainly I can only write 2 or 3 pages. But before I'd write 12 and 14 pages, no trouble.
In the horticultural world, well, we got really interested again in all that type of thing and started showing flowers and growing prize flowers, sending all over Australia for something special. And we really became embroiled in community affairs, and particularly in the horticultural world. And we had some pretty fabulous days there, didn't we?
Different ones will ring up and say, "You Ramsey's the flower people." I said, "I suppose we're called the flower people." So many people call it.
Secretary of the Horticulture Society for 13 years, and I was president for 13 years. She was secretary and I was president at the same time. Wasn't long after that we started the garden club, but Floral Carnival started at the same time, and the Workers' Club started at the same time exactly.
Marina was born in 9 months after we were married.
Miss Colleen was the second daughter, and then you're the...
Born on our 2nd wedding anniversary, second daughter, on the 2nd of June, and that all. 2nd wedding anniversary, second daughter, 2nd of June. I thought there was another 2nd in it there somewhere.
Oh, we got engaged on the 2nd.
Second child, got engaged on the 2nd.
So 2nd of the 2nd of the 2nd was pretty prominent. I suppose that they did capture our heart. They were the first two born, and all the things that they did were so novel to us, and we took special note of what they were about.
The twins were born at 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know I was having twins, and it was a big surprise, boy and a girl. I really wanted a boy every time, but I got a girl, then another girl, and everyone used to say, "Well, I suppose you want a boy this time." I said, "That's a funny thing, but no, I really want another little girl. I really do." And of course I had a boy and a girl. But unfortunately our little girl was only loaned to us for 2.5 years. So must be some reason why, you know, that I did want that little girl. Couldn't understand why when I didn't want a girl either time at first, then I want a girl. I wouldn't have been a bit disappointed had she been another girl. But anyway, we only had her for 2.5 years. I suppose it would have been 10 years later I heard someone laugh across the street here in the next street, and I said to myself, "Gee, I wish I could laugh like that." You know, I felt as though I'd never be able to really laugh again. No one knows what losing a child means. I think you never, ever get over it. Never.
You certainly never forget. You'd always remember the tragedy and everything.
I'm sure it did a lot to our lives.
But
and
we had to get ourselves over that hurdle, didn't we?
Oh yeah, well you've got to get over it, because if you don't you're weak, aren't you? You must do. It was about 3 months after we lost her that I was in a shop downtown, and I put something on the lay-by and gave the lady my name, or the young girl my name, and she said, "Are you the Mrs. Ramsey that lost that little girl?" And I just looked at her and I said, "Yes." She said, "Well, Claude Riley came in to our place next door to the funeral parlour, and he said, I want you to come in and have a look at this little girl that's laid out in there. He said, she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen laid out." Well, of course, I cried when she told me, but I still liked to be told that. I still thought it was nice to be told what she told me. I thanked her.
Well, Bernard seemed to fill a gap in our life after having lost Judith. We were still in the doldrums 2.5 years later, and
I think you should be able to, you know, say things to people, and I don't think that you should brush people's death under the carpet like a lot do, won't speak about them. I think you should talk about them.
Pretty hard at first though, isn't it? You can realise some people just break up as soon as they start to even mention the name of their loved one.
I think it helps people get over it, and you're not making out they never were. They're still with you. Their memories are still there and everything. But, well, I suppose our home was different after we'd lost little Judith, but, well, life had to go on, didn't it?
This rose is Woburn Abbey, and this is Maureen's favourite rose. It has, at the moment, 30-odd flowers on it, probably 30 or 40 buds, and it's really healthy. No aphids or anything on it, and I wouldn't be game to let aphids get on it either, because I'd get cautioned if I allowed the aphids to get on that one. And through here, I call this the little forest, and everything's growing like nature intended it out here. And there's something unusual growing in there too. It's the Australian holly, and there's not many people know that Australia has a native holly. I'll just snip a piece off for you. Just away from me. And this is our native holly, and it has all the same characteristics as any other holly, only that it grows so large, grow 12 or 14 feet high. This is the special thing that I want to show you. It's a gladioli bulb called Moreen Ramsey, which I have propagated myself with the cross between a gladioli named H.R. Hancock and one named Picardy. Picardy is one of the old world favourites, and well, I'm quite proud of it too. And the fact that it's, after this year I should have 6,000 bulbs, and the following year should have 60,000 bulbs. It's a good propagator, and so there'll be plenty more in Ramsey's about.
My wild Irish rose.